This is Football Focus Weekly with CFI, Charlotte Football Insiders. Starring the pet man Matt Morrow, owner and founder of CFI. With him we have Shree Glenn, our lead reporter, knocking out interviews, going all over the place, just being the queen of CFI. We have Brandon Black, the man behind the camera, the producer, and our photographer does a great job getting those shots every week. We have with us assistant West Charlotte football coach Brandon Phillips. Very energetic young man. Former head coach at Central Cabarrus and East Rowan High Schools, Kenneth McClamrock, one of our big football experts. And then last but certainly not least, we have Josh Kroll, former Christ the King head coach, former offensive coordinator at multiple schools. And we are Football Focus Weekly.
Good evening, everyone. This is the Pet Man, Matt Morrow. We are back once again with another week of Football Focus Weekly. I want to apologize to everyone this week. We did not put out a preview because I've been very busy with the Under the Lights camp and a lot of things going on with that. We will touch on Under the Lights camp later on in the show. But to give you a rundown of what we're going to talk about tonight, first off, we get in the rundown. We got two topics. We're going to talk about the big changes to the playoff system the NCHSAA just released. There's very good information about that. Every sport's going to have playoffs, and we'll talk about that a little bit. We're also going to have our first segment of NFL picks. So throughout the NFL season, we are all going to pick 3 games each week. We'll keep track of it, and then at the end of the season, we'll have a champion that'll get something. I haven't decided what that is yet. But then if you guys want to play along too and submit your picks through the comments, you can play along with us, and then maybe we can have an audience champion too. And then we'll get you some CFI gear, maybe a shirt like this that I've got on, or I got a couple visors, John Gruden style T-shirts, and we'll find some stuff for you. If you want to play along with us, that'd be great. In the head coach spotlight, we're going to have Darius Robinson from the J.M. Robinson Bulldogs up in Cabarrus County. He is the new head coach of that program. We'll talk with him and catch up with how things are going up there with everything, of course, that's been going on in the world. Then we'll go into after that, we'll talk about the Under the Lights. And Under the Lights camp feature is players to watch, underrated players. We did the big time players last week. I'm going to talk about some underrated players that have signed up, and I think are going to be big players to watch for the camp this Friday night. We'll go into sound off after that. It's going to be interesting tonight from my perspective. I'd say that. And then we'll go into our assistant coach spotlight. It's going to be Otis Powell, who's the offensive coordinator at Highland Tech. He was also the former defense coordinator when I was at Harding back in 2010. A good friend of mine, really good guy. Excited to talk with him. And then and for our final topic tonight, we don't have talk, but we're going to jump in the time machine. We're going to talk about the best dynasties in our area throughout the year. So we'll get the panel's opinion on that. And we have already got a comment in already before we have introduced anyone from Clark Clan _NC. Thanks for doing this. You do such a great job. I think you're talking about the camp. I think. So thank you for those kind words. All right. So I hadn't done this in a while. So we're going to come down the line. I'm going to let the panel introduce themselves tonight, old school style, in the Football Focus Weekly way. And I'll start with the Juice Man because he's always hitting lead off for us. I'm going to let him just introduce himself tonight and have, something to say to everyone. So here we go.
Pep Man, appreciate it, man. Juice Man in the building. Coach Crowell, senior. I have to make sure I say that because I do have a junior now. But Coach Crowell, senior, former head football coach at Christ the King, offense coordinator in multiple spots. Former quarterback guru, but I'm retired. All right, but I'm retired. So my time is over. So now I'm just a North Carolina Central University aficionado. And anytime somebody bring up that school down the highway named T, them's fighting words.
In typical Juice Man fashion, he is stirring the pot already from the start of the show. So we'll go to our resident A&T Aggie, our producer, Brandon Black, who I'm sure will have something to say about those comments.
Aficionado. I'm gonna leave that one alone. You put the anti-Aggie in there for me. I didn't even have to say it. Brandon Black, photographer extraordinaire, resident Aggie, picture taker, analyst. You know the drill.
Sorry about that. My button got stuck. But Brandon is considered the cool cat on the show. He never gets very emotional. And I don't know how to get him emotional, and I've known him for many years. So he's the one that keeps us in line around here for the most part. All right. Y'all know her as the queen of CFI, but I know her as Shree Glenn, and we're going to bring her on and let her say a few words here.
Hey, guys. Shree Glenn, the queen of CFI, if you will. Always looking forward to what these guys bring every week. Always looking forward to, who we're going to highlight, because there are so many people out there who may not get the recognition that, they feel they deserve. So it's just good to be able to do that for our community and for these people, for these schools who shed a positive light. So, I'm forever CFI. I love it. I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and let's go.
Beautifully said by the queen right there. It's very eloquent. And that's why she's here, because we got to balance all these rough men out with some beauty and grace, and that's what Shree brings with us. And I see you blushing in the background, but it's true. All right, so we're gonna bring on our expert coach, Kenny McClamrock, the emotional engine of Football Focus Weekly.
Yeah, maybe unlike Brandon, I get a little fired up from time to time. I'm Kenneth McClamrock. I'm a lover of all things Pelicans snowballs, and I'm undefeated in Madden 2009 over the last decade. Go get them.
Not Madden 09. It's only been 12 years. And I am the pet man, Matt Morrow. I coached for 13 years in the high school area here, Harding, Myers Park, and Waddell. Been doing this for about 7 years now. Started this CFI back last year, and Shree and Brandon were there from the start. And then, of course, I knew Kenny from, covering, different schools in the area. And then, I knew Josh from his time up at Mountain Island Charter as the offense coordinator. So, and then I would be remiss if I didn't mention we are missing in action our resident West Charlotte Lion, Brandon Phillips. He had some things he had to take care of tonight, but I know he is here in spirit with us. And, I'm sure he would say something along the lines of being a West Charlotte Lion and how he dominated Harding if he was here. And I'd have to mute him in around the horn fashion. So that's okay. It's okay. We do miss him. See you next week, Coach. All right. So we're going to bring in our first topic in the rundown. That is the NCHSAA playoff announcement and changes. So we saw yesterday that the NCHSAA came out with a kind of a document, I guess is the best way to put it, kind of listing all the sports and when the playoffs would start. So, of course, we're going to focus on football. We noticed that the playoffs would still be subdivided, but less teams are going to get into the playoffs. But we are going to have a full first round, second round, third round, and then we go to the state title game in May, on May the 8th. So I'll get everyone's thoughts on that. Let's start with our resident coach, Kenny McClamrock, and then we'll come down the line. We got you on mute, Ken.
I think anything that moves the football season forward 2 weeks in a row is a good thing. I also think anything that makes sure that a one-win football team doesn't make the playoffs, like what happened a couple of years ago, is a good thing. And I also think that anything that makes sure that a team that we beat in the regular season, that we finished ahead of in conference standings, and that we were ahead of the entire week on max preps, didn't jump us all of a sudden whenever the playoffs started, I think is a good thing. So getting rid of that max preps bull crap computer percentage junk that they've done the last couple of years. I do have a couple of questions. From my understanding, there are 32 teams per division. From my understanding, they're still going to subdivide. From my understanding, they're going to have automatic seedings where number 2 from this conference plays number 4 from this conference, or however that lines up. But my question is, with that automatic seeding, how is the subdividing going to work out? I'm not sure how that works out. Does anybody have a clue?
I saw that question was raised on Twitter on how, that was going to work with the predetermined seedings versus subdividing and all that. And I know the statement that I saw when they brought it up to Q Tucker was that the NCHSAA was going to go back and review that whole predetermined bracket thing because of those questions that you raised there. So I think there's going to be some kind of, statement that comes out that's going to correct, some of those issues that you brought up, Ken. Let's see, we got a comment coming in here right here. Coach Glass up at Lincoln. Has anyone thought about 1A, 2A schools and not having enough kids to play game 1? That's a very good point. Because with the way the schedule is structured, we've got those. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago when they, came out with the structure of the schedule and the dual sports athletes, and you're going to have a lot of those in those lower levels. And if you got a lot of kids on your basketball team, for example, you look at the basketball playoffs, and Coach Glass with a follow-up comment, maybe even game 2. And yeah, that's what it goes into what I'm about to say. When you look at the scheduled basketball playoffs, if you got a good basketball team, your guys are going to miss a lot of time because, they're playing deeper into the playoffs and they could potentially miss a couple games. And Coach Glass with another follow-up, he says he has 10 football players that play basketball. So, yeah, that's one of the things we said, initially when we talked about, this calendar adjustment was now that we've got a different situation. Typically, it's basketball teams that kind of lose out a little bit in the beginning of their seasons with football players on good, playoff teams. But now we've got the reverse going on. So I think, that's something that we definitely, need to look at. And then Coach Glass saying, in that situation that they would have to forfeit. And that's, of course, you only got 7 games and you don't want to, have to deal with something like that when you only have so many games already. So let's go to Juice Man Josh Kroll and get his thoughts on this topic right here.
Yeah, man, Coach Glass, man, that's a tough situation, bro. And that's a terrible situation. But at the beginning, when we first started talking about this, one of the things that I pinpointed, and though it's a little bit, obviously it carries a little bit of insensitivity, is that what's going to end up having to happen is essentially what ends up having to happen for the kids when it's a reverse situation, when football season is still going on and we're playing through the playoffs and basketball season it's already started. Those kids ultimately end up having to make a decision. So I think it's a lot of it's going to be it's a tough situation to have to make or a tough decision to have to make. But ultimately, it's going to depend on if the basketball program is even doing well. If you're losing games, if the basketball team's losing games, which I don't know if Lincoln's basketball team is great in that, I don't know, so don't quote me on this. But if they're not doing well, then that plays to your advantage. If the basketball team's doing great, then it plays to your disadvantage. And that's an obvious disadvantage, which then you have to sit down and talk to kids and ask them, where do you see yourself really being able to make a larger impact? Are you planning on playing college basketball? Are you planning on playing college football? Are these sports that you're just doing as extracurricular activities? So, but when it's 10 on the 1A, 2A level, 10 kids is a lot. I come from Eastern North Carolina where I was at Bedingfield High School where 10 kids, legitimately, we had 10 kids that was waiting for basketball season if our season didn't go right. So we always had to make sure we was going good because the basketball program was always rolling. So that's a tough situation. Now, onto this. I'm very, very excited about this. I'm excited about a May state championship game. That is going to be beautiful weather. You're talking about a beautiful atmosphere. Obviously, they'll still have them at some of the best looking fields around, man. I'm still hoping that at some point they could possibly give one of those contracts to North Carolina A&T or North Carolina Central, or maybe even Winston State at some point. But right now, as the structure is currently, I'm looking forward to April playoffs. Now you have pretty much optimal weather. Once you start going into that second part of the year, you got great weather. It might be some hot days, might be some cold days. Hopefully we don't get no snow later in May like we have seen once or twice in the last 4 or 5 years. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited about this schedule. Now, the importance is going to be on guys. Listen, man, you don't have any room. If your team is good and you're going to be playing a tough schedule, you don't have any room to lose no chip shot games, man. There's no room for error. The margin for error is very, very slim. So, all in all, man, I'm excited. I love this. I love this schedule. I love how Q and committee, Q and company have rolled this out. I'm excited about this, and I can't wait till top of the year, man, to get back to some high school football. You know, no knock to everybody still playing right now, but to get to some North Carolina public school, high school football and see who the real big dogs are in the state in a 7-game schedule and then a full playoffs. This is going to be fun, man. I'm excited.
Great stuff, Coach. Great stuff. Coach Glass with a reply saying the easy fix is to move basketball up 2 weeks. Yeah, I could see that, but we know how it is with the NCHSAA. Pretty much when they put their foot down and say something, it's the way it is, and it's the way it is. For better or worse. Let me bring in the producer Brandon Black and get his thoughts on this real quick.
I think it's nice to have this, simplified approach, like Coach said. Eliminating, 1 and 2 win teams. It just, at some point, the playoffs used to seem sort of, bloated. You would have teams and you'd wonder, should they be there? You'd have teams that should have been in that weren't, like we mentioned before. But it's just nice to even, at one point, even having a playoff was, when we were wondering when the season was going to start, we weren't even sure we would have a playoff. So it brings just another sense of normalcy to the season. And it's nice to, be able to crown champions, because, without champions, you're essentially playing a whole season of exhibition games. So it's nice to just get confirmation that we wouldn't have playoffs, because at one point, before we knew when the season was going to start, how many games, we weren't even sure there would even be playoffs. So just to get some confirmation of that is nice.
Totally agree. I mean, it looked for a long time that we were just going to have, a regular season, and that was going to be it. And we were talking about maybe just having conference championship games, but the NCHSAA was able to put this together, and definitely appreciated. Excuse me, got a frog in my throat real quick. All right, let's go to Shree Glenn and let me recover off camera. Here we go.
So, I think I'm with Coach Kroll on this one. I'm excited, I think, the most for just that, that April, May football. I think it is going to be awesome to see. I'm a girl who loves spring and fall weather, so it'll be good to get out there in some, 50, 60, 70 degree weather and get to watch that. Also, too, outside of COVID-19, I think it's going to be a break for some of our guys who usually go through their entire summer, in the blistering heat, just to be able to take a break from that. And I know it's not something that, they want to see normalized, but, I think for this season, it's a nice little break for them to have. It is, unfortunate for some of those guys who, may not have a future outside of high school, if they are one of the lower teams that may not get to make it into the playoffs this year. But I am looking forward to seeing, the pressure that's going to be applied to those teams that do make it. Because like you said, you're going into these, realistic situations starting in college. And so, it's going to come down to some bigger games. So I think I'm excited for all of that, really.
Very good stuff right there, Shree. A couple comments in the background that are coming through. When you look at the playoff seedings, the automatic bids are based on the number of teams in the conference, which is interesting. So, Coach Kroll in the background was saying a 4-3 record doesn't really look good in this situation. That's true, because depending on, where you finish in the conference, you may not get in, with that kind of record. When usually we're saying we let too many teams in the playoffs, so that's good stuff right there. We got a comment right here that's coming in. Let's see here. Roy Beth Andrews, how much with kids leaving early for college will affect the top teams? We kind of touched on this a couple weeks ago, and we pretty much have seen most kids have come out and said they're staying at their school, and they're going to play in the spring. And I kind of went into the NCAA, scholarship limits for schools, and not knowing an exact number, and teams trying to figure that out. And a lot of their kids now are going to probably stay an extra year because of the NCAA mandate or ruling that came down that allowed that to happen because of COVID-19. So I don't think you're going to have a lot of kids leave early now because of those things. So thank you, Roy, for that comment. Let's see here. We got 1 minute before our guest comes on. Let's see, panel, did we have anything else on that? Just going to look in the background real quick. No one is saying anything. All right, good. So we had another topic in the rundown. We're going to come back to that, and that's our NFL picks that I talked about at the top of the show. But right now, we're going to have our first guest of the night. And this young man is something else to watch on the sideline. He is a bundle of energy at every game. You can see him, being very animated. His former defense coordinator at Central Cabarrus, and now the head coach at J.M. Robinson, the Bulldogs up in Cabarrus County. And that is Darius Robinson, and we're going to bring him on the show right now as soon as I get set up here. I'm off my game, man. Off my game. Now I'm good. How you doing tonight, Coach?
Good, man. Thanks for having me, man. I'm doing well, man.
Good. I'm glad to have you. Glad you coming back on. It's good to see you again.
Yes,
so the first question I want to ask you, Coach, is, I mentioned you were defensive coordinator at Central Cabarrus last season, and then you took the head coach spot over at J.M. Robinson. What possessed you to go ahead and make that jump?
Well, first I'll start off with going to Central Cabarrus in general. It was a blessing to be able to work under one of your colleagues now at this point in time, Coach McClamrock. I got to learn so much under him. And so with that being said, man, it wasn't nothing in regards to Central Cabarrus. He laid down the foundation. Everything was set. That car is gassed up, as folks like to say nowadays, and ready to go. But it was more so that full court press that J.M. Robinson put on me. And the stars aligned, as the quotes say, man. Admin and myself, all our visions are the same. And I got tremendous support, and we want to make football and athletics in general the focal point for this area, and we're going to do so. And so I'm excited to be here at J.M. Robinson, man. I think some special things are going to happen for years to come.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. When I came up there and interviewed you a few months back, you took me around, showed me the facilities, showed me the upgrades that are going on and, in place. Talk about what's going on up there and some things heading in the right direction.
Man, we got that new turf field in, man, and it's ready to go, man. It's beautiful. As of right now, a quick plug for our entire athletics program. We just signed an Adidas contract before this whole pandemic. And so now we're in the process of trying to get these kids fully uniformed in Adidas whenever they get back. So we're in the midst of doing a fundraiser to really show these kids that we see them working, because we know they've been working every single day. And we know that these are some unprecedented times. But we love these kids. We love everything they're about. And so we want to reward them for all their hard work and dedication to this school and to this community by going ahead and making them feel good and look good so they can play good. And so any of you guys that's watching this thing live, please support J.M. Robinson Athletics. Go to my Twitter page or the J.M. Robinson football page or the athletics page and to help show some support to these kids because they've been working their butts off. And for us to have everything locked and loaded and ready to go, so whenever they just show up, they can just show out. It's going to be tremendous and a blessing. So anything can help.
Well said, Coach. Well said. And I'm excited for you. It's good to have that kind of support, when you're trying to, get things going in the right direction. That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
You've got a record. We've got several comments already. People are excited to see you on here. I'll share those with you. Tyrese Williams was stating this before you even came on. He said he's proud of you, Darius Robinson, old JCSU teammate. Best of luck, Coach.
Oh yeah, Tyrese, man, that joker there, that was the Albert Hainsworth of CIAA. He was unblockable, and I used to love playing with Tyrese. So yeah, appreciate the love, big dog.
Good deal, good deal. We got D. Williams, Coach D. Rob. He's gonna kill it.
I love me.
So there you go. He got some support.
I know he's gonna kill it over there at his new school, being a defensive coordinator. Man, good luck to you, Coach.
Excellent, excellent. Then we got Joe Glass. Get those dogs back to winning, D-Rob, pulling for you. So
I appreciate it. He said,
Coach Glass there.
Yes, sir.
And B. Williams had to throw that out there, JCSU. So there you go. Got a lot of love, man. A lot of love. That's good stuff. All right, so let's get back on topic here. Obviously, we've got COVID-19 that has come in and just, obviously changed the world. How have you been able to handle that as a first-year head coach, communicating with you guys, getting your schemes put in place? How have you been able to navigate these, choppy waters right now?
Well, the term in which we're using as a coaching staff here at J.M. Robinson is just being adaptable and being adaptive altogether. So that's what we've been doing anytime we've gotten mandates or we expected something to happen that didn't happen as far as workouts. We've just pivoted and changed course and kept working. So when this thing first started, I was still formulating the staff. And so I kept on with that. I sent guys workouts every single day, build up the staff. We built the camaraderie. We got on the same page, and we all started thinking the same way. And then guys started meeting with guys every day, starting in April and May. We thought we were preparing for workouts never came. They kept pushing it back until school started. And so now school has started now, and I get to see the guys every single day. But we still have a football focus, what I call Wisdom Wednesday, where we kind of focus more on our mission and vision here at J.M. Robinson, developing guys academically, socially, spiritually, physically, and athletically, all those things. And so we more center upon that, making sure that these guys understand that the standard in which they must uphold each and every day, not only on the field in the 120-yard realm, but off the field in the hallways, wherever they are. And so Wisdom Wednesday has been good for us these past couple of weeks. And so we're going to keep building on that too until we start back, hopefully in October.
I like that, man. I like that. Very good. That's catchy. If I ever coach again in another lifetime, I'm going to try to steal that from you. All right. We're going to bring on a guy that I think you know.
Oh, baby.
This is going to be interesting. And the audience, you just wait for this. All right, here we go.
Ready! What's up, big man? My brother from a different mother, what it is. Man, let me tell you something. I wore a hoodie because I was expecting you to wear a hoodie. 7 months I worked every single day with this dude, and he never didn't have on a hoodie that wasn't soaking wet before we even got to practice. Let me tell you, I would show up to the school at 5:45 a.m. and there's stinking D-Rob pulled up behind me. I'm ready, Coach. What you need, Coach? I'm ready. And he would fill up 80 water bottles, do whatever had to be done. And then I'd look around, where the heck did D-Rob go? He's on the field running laps. He's running suicides on the field, man. I had a coach, true story. I had a coach one time ask me, D-Rob knows this story. A coach asked me, we had a scrimmage at a school in August, and he goes, is he always that hyper, man? Does he ever calm down? I said, never, ever. It doesn't matter. 5:45 in the morning, 10:45 after a game. This dude is like this always. That's who he is. It's why I love my brother so much, D-Rob, man. You know how much love I got for you. Maggie was like, boy, you sure are in a happy mood right now. This is like 2 hours ago. I was like, yeah, D-Rob's coming on the show. Baby, that's why. That's what's up. And she said, Jody, it's happy when we go out on dates. I said, because it's my man D-Rob. That's how we roll. So, 7 months, man, I worked with this guy. Never saw him down. Always saw you happy. So I got 2 questions for you. Number 1, how the heck are you always in such a good mood? Because I love you. Number 2, be honest, for real. You got to jump to get in them jeans, man.
Nah, man. But, man, we kind of talked about this today in our Wisdom Wednesday. We talked about purpose. And so me understanding my purpose in life and understanding my drive, man, I could come off 2 hours of sleep and I know what I'm doing for and who I'm doing it for, and more importantly, who I'm about. And so, man, it just comes natural, man. That's just what God has instilled in me, because it's not for me and it's not about me, man. I'm always about the next man, which is why we just like, it's like brother love for the rest of our life. We both the same people, man. And so that's just it in a nutshell.
I love it. I love it, dude. I love you, brother.
I love you too, brother.
You guys, I tell you, when I came and interviewed you guys last year. What was that, Coach?
I said, you can imagine that central sideline last year was.
You never knew. Dude. At any point in practice, we could be the middle 11 or 11, and one of us is hollering at dude, and all of a sudden, the other one's going to jump on the other one's back. I'm like, God, don't, D-Rob, get off my back. Let me holler at this dude for a minute.
I was joking. I said, we need to get like a 2 dual cam CFI thing. One to film the game, one to film just D-Rob just running around the whole dang game as a defensive coordinator. I mean, that would be awesome, man. I'm gonna have to do that. You might be a little more subdued now that you're a head coach.
I'm gonna try not to. Man. That's why I got coordinators now, so I definitely can show out. I don't have to call plays anymore, man. I'm just about to just high five and fist bump and go crazy. I might not have flags, but I'm gonna go crazy.
Let me tell you, when something good happens, you're gonna have a handprint on your butt. It's guaranteed, because that joker will smack the mess out of your butt.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. All right, so let's bring on Ken. That was awesome, man. Great job with the hoodie, man. You shocked me on that one. All right, so let's bring on another question here from Shree Glenn, our resident queen of CFI.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. So my question is not as animated,
okay.
But coming into this job as a head coach your first year, defense obviously is what you were known for before coming in. So how much of that experience are you going to bring into this new head coaching job?
Well, with me, man, it's less about the scheme of things in which I want to be done, because I know I don't want to fit a square peg in a round hole. So it doesn't. I've ran 3 or 4 different defenses in 4 years that I was a defensive coordinator. The scheme doesn't matter to me. It's more so of the philosophy and the mindset. And I want guys to play a certain way. We're gonna pursue the ball relentlessly. We're gonna have great effort. We're gonna play with great emotion, not emotional. We're not gonna be reacting to things, but people are going to walk into the stands. They're going to be like, those kids care about each other. They care about the game. They care about their coaches. They care about what they're doing. And those are things that you're going to see when you come to a J.M. Robinson football game on full display.
Very good, Coach. Shree, thank you for that question. Excellent. All right, so I do want to ask you about something that has been, prevalent throughout our society, and that's social injustice. And that's something that, I think we both feel very passionate about. I'm just talking with you, a couple months back about some different things that were going on. Just give me your thoughts on, social injustice going on, and how do you relay that to your players, and how important is it to you?
Well, man, the first things first, when I acknowledge anything in which I do, man, I first acknowledge that I'm a man of faith. And so my values and the things in which I believe and the way in which I walk comes directly from that. And so with that, man, with everything that's going on, no matter who it is, no matter what the situation is, I try not to subjectify what that instance was to what everybody else is, which is why Coach McClamrock will forever be my brother, because I don't say, oh, just because I see something happen on social media that everybody has to be like that. But it has to be a two-way street to where folks can't all automatically see me in a sweatpants and a t-shirt and automatically say, oh, that's another one of those thugs. And the way that happens, we have to humble ourselves and be more human than anything else, man, and show people that we care, show people that true love, not so much for what they can do for us, what we can get out of them, but just for who they are, and who we are, and more importantly, whose we are, and understanding that we're living for a much bigger picture than what we see in a clip. And so with all that being said, man, we have to really harp in on building relationships with folks outside of just our comfort. Prime example, with me and Coach McClamrock, man, like most people don't relate to that. And another example of that being, I can remember right after the George Floyd incident, I'm out with two coaches going to grab lunch and talk some scheme, two white coaches at that. And we go up to grab lunch, and it's two police officers, white police officers at that I order my food, and they're like, where you going? I just sit down and have a conversation with them. And yes, it was as awkward as I'll get out, because the old notion goes, man, don't talk to strangers. And so, but I go up there and I sit down and we first just start talking about who we are and our day and this and that. But then it started gravitating towards all the instances that's been going on. But nobody will ever grasp an understanding if we continue to just subjectify everybody and say, well, that's just how they are and that's just how they are. No, let's be a better us so we can now invoke into better people. And so, man, it sucks what's going on. I'm happy that it's a light now with this whole COVID that now it's really everybody get to see it, because everybody's life has just kind of stood still. But now it's not so much of what's going on, but what are we going to do to change it? And just going around and just getting mad and saying this and that and saying, I don't want to talk to this person, I don't want to talk to that person. Well, people are throwing it out there just for that same thing to happen. Why not, instead of saying, oh, okay, I see that this is happening, now let me try to be the change. Like I told the kids today, it only takes one. So if you go all it takes for you to go impact that one person, like if me, for instance, if I go impact that one white man that thought all black people were a certain way, and that one white man will go change the perspective of another man, and it go on and go on. But if we all just stand in our corner and just say, oh, this is how it is, oh, we're gonna be over here, y'all gonna be over here, don't mess with us, we ain't gonna mess with y'all, then we're gonna constantly be divided, and all this stuff is gonna continue to happen, because there's never an understanding of what's really going on. But true love and a genuine care for people really needs to come to the forefront if change is gonna happen. I thank you.
I'm on you. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I'm rusty, man. I'm rusty. But that was beautiful, man. That was beautiful. I mean, there's no other way to put that. And well said. Well said. You know, one person, and that's how we have to do it. One person has to change. You know, one person, and and hopefully it starts to grow and manifest. But it's gonna take time. It's gonna take a lot of time, and a lot of people having open minds, and that. We're having a problem with that right now in society. So, we got a comment. I want to bring Ken back real quick. We got a comment that was addressed to both of you guys. So let me bring Ken back in. And that comment comes from Matt Riggins. Two GOAT coaches right there, greatest of all time. Wow.
Appreciate it.
I guess Matt coached with you guys.
Oh, yes, sir.
Coach Riggins was our defensive line coach the last 2 years. So he's working closely with both of us.
Yes, sir.
Nice. Awesome. All right. So thank you, Ken, for that cameo. We'll drop him back off. Last question, Coach. Talk to us about some big-time players that you expect to do some big things for you. And one of them is one I really like, Joshua Grant, the receiver. When I looked at his film, he was just, dynamite. So I know you got some other ones up there.
Yeah, Coach, man, I really want to highlight the senior class, man, because I've had extensive conversations with them about rebuilding this program to what it was when Coach Glass was here, man, and they're chomping at the bit at it. You got to realize with this senior class here, their freshman year, they were those pipsqueaks that were standing on the fence, or probably the water boys or the ball boys, because they were freshmen when those guys were on their run to the fourth round of the playoffs. One game away from the state championship, eventually losing the Charlotte Catholics. No harm in that. But this senior class with Joshua Grant and Brian Stewart, Memphis Jones, Mason Gregory, all those guys, man, Carson Bean, man, those guys, man, they've been working their butts off each and every day to get this program back to what they saw it and what they envisioned carrying on. And so they want to revamp that foundation for guys to build on this thing. That's the first conversation I had with this senior class is leave this place better than you found it. Leave this world better than you found it. This is your world right now here at J.M. Robinson School, J.M. Robinson Athletic, J.M. Robinson Football. This is your world. So you better leave this thing better than you found it. And they got one goal is to get it back to where it was, so we can build off that. And so this senior class, I'm trying to tell you, they're ready not only for that, but to really showcase their abilities to all these different colleges, because we got some dogs out here. All these other teams is faking and stealing the name, saying they got dogs, but we got real dogs. And we say that every time we start our workout session. Them boys ain't no bulldogs. We got bulldogs over here, and we ready to bite. And so when I say sick them, they're gonna go get them. So y'all make sure y'all tune in to the show when we start in February.
See, man, now I got to be at a couple J.M. Robinson games. You got me fired up, man. I'm ready to get down my three-point stance and pull from left guard like I used to, trap somebody. I'm ready.
Yes, sir.
I want to be a bulldog.
Yes, sir.
Coach, man, it's a pleasure talking with you again. I appreciate you coming on with us tonight. And, like I said, we'll see you up there in February real soon, man.
Thank you for having me, man. Pep, man, you keep doing what you're doing, man. You're doing great things, man. We appreciate you here at J.M. Robinson, man. Anytime you want to come by, man, you know you're more than welcome. And anything that you need from us, man, we got you, big dog.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, man. I'll be up there soon.
Yes, sir, man. You have a good one.
All right, you too, man. All right, so that was head coach Darius Robinson with the J.M. Robinson Bulldogs. I think he's a rising star, man. He's going to be a dynamite head coach for a long, long time. I'm going to bring back the panel because we got to do our NFL picks. So let's come down the line on these. Let's start with the Queen, Shree Glenn, and we'll get her picks. I wonder who she's going to pick with Raiders and Panthers. So here we go.
So you already know. So there's no need for me to even say it, but I'm going to anyway. I actually think that the Panthers are going to win this one. It's going to be fairly close. I'm going to give it a 21-17 score. Going the Panthers' way. For the Rams Cowboys, I think that there's a lot to prove on both sides, but I think that Dak has a little more to prove. He just signed a franchise this year, so he's going to be looking to, prove that he should have been, an actual franchise quarterback getting an extended contract. So I think that they'll pull that one out. And then I have the Dolphins for the Dolphins Patriots game. I actually have New England winning this game. You got two guys who are both have something to prove, two vets. And I just think that Cam, this first game, they're going to kind of give him a little bit of a little bit of leeway. And so I think he's going to win this one on his legs. So
All right, very good, very good. So we got the Panthers, the Cowboys, and the Patriots down for Shree. All right. Let's go to the producer, Brandon Black, and get. Oh, I'm sorry. See, I told you, man, I'm off. Oh gosh. All right, so let's go to the producer, Brandon Black, and get his picks right now.
I'm gonna start with Patriots and Dolphins. I feel like Cam's gonna surprise a lot of people. You pairing Cam with Belichick. I feel like they're gonna put up some points, so I'm gonna go Patriots 31, Dolphins 17. I got Cowboys. Like I said, Dax. Dax got a lot. Like Shree said, Dax got a lot to prove. Zeke, he is what he is. He produces. So I'm gonna go Cowboys 24, Rams 17. Now this last one. Born and raised in Charlotte. I'm a true Panthers fan, but I gotta pick with my brain and not my heart. And I just think there's a departure of too much leadership, too much talent has left the Panthers, unfortunately. And I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. I want to see something Sunday that makes me just raise my eyebrow and say, man, I'm glad I was wrong. But I got Raiders 27, Panthers 13. It is what it is.
Spoken like true John Fox. It is what it is. Man, I think it was 13 points. That's some John Fox era offense right there. Run, screen pass, and punt. You gotta love it. All right. Thank you, sir, for that. All right, let's go. What in the world? Terrible tonight. God almighty. I might need a backup quarterback, guys. I'm struggling. I'm like 3 for 14 right now. This is terrible. My goodness. All right, let's go to Kenny McClamrock and get his picks on these 3 games right here.
Yeah, it's so tough because we haven't seen any preseason games, and I don't have cable. So I'm going in the first game, Dolphins versus Patriots. I've got the Patriots in a close one. I think they win by a touchdown. Rams, Cowboys. I'll give a shout out to my dog, Coach Phillips, since he's not here today. I've got Rams in a close one against the Cowboys. I think there are a lot of points scored, but I think it comes down to a field goal at the very end. And then kind of like Brandon said, I've been a Panthers fan for my entire life. I had all the Panthers newspapers whenever they became a team hanging up, and Kevin Green and Jake Delhomme and Steve Smith, all those guys were hanging up in my room growing up. But I'm going to be honest, like I just looked at the Panthers roster a few days ago, and it's kind of like that scene in Major League where the guy says they're looking over their spring roster, and he's like, I don't know who half these guys are, and the half I do know are way past their prime. I mean, I'm looking like Brian Burns. We're not counting him to be a starting defensive end. That joker weighed 205 pounds last year. They say he's up to like 230. We've got rookies starting everywhere. Tahir Whitehead, who the heck is he? Darius Taylor, Jermaine Carter, Corn Elder, Troy Pratt, and Justin Burris are now starting for us. Good night. As much as I hate to say it, I got to tip my nod to not a very good Las Vegas team over the Panthers, and I think they win by less than 5.
I love that Major League reference. I mean, you're right.
These guys are way past their prime. These guys were just playing college ball like a year ago, and I think some of them they picked up from the local semi-pro team down the road in Lake Norman.
Maybe so. But maybe we'll make a Major League run and get in the playoffs at 8-8.
We're
have a storybook run.
Somebody get some live chickens. We need live chickens.
If any kids are watching this, you have no clue what we're talking about.
No clue. They missed it
out. Thank you, Ken. That's awesome, man. All right, so I'll give my picks here for these 3 games. I'll start with the Dolphins and Patriots, and I think everyone has picked the Patriots so far. I'm going to go with the Dolphins, and I'm going to tell you why. Last season, we saw the Dolphins, knock the Patriots off in week 17 in a game that, meant nothing to them and meant everything to the Patriots. And of course that led to, the Patriots losing in the first round and the exodus of Tom Brady. I think Brian Flores is doing something really special down there in Miami. They named Ryan Fitzpatrick the starter. I thought that was smart. It's going to bring on Tua real slow. If they named Tua the starter, I would probably pick the Patriots. But, Fitzpatrick always, y'all know how he is. He has like 5 MVP games and then falls off like a cliff. So I think this is going to be the start of one of his MVP games. And Cam's going to be so fired up to, prove everyone wrong. And, I think he's going to try to do too much. And, I think ultimately he's going to hurt his team in week 1. But I think he's going to have a good season. But I'm going to pick the Dolphins over the Patriots. I think it's low scoring. I think Dolphins will win it. Let's say 20-14 in that one. I don't think the Patriots offense is going to be cooking in week 1. Then we've got the Cowboys and Rams. I hate the Cowboys, so I'm picking the Rams just off principle. I'm going to pick the Rams to win that one. But I agree, like Ken said, I think it's going to be a lot of points. Both teams are very good on offense. I think Jared Goff has a lot to prove. He had a tough season last year. A lot of people are saying he's overpaid now. So I think, they're going to come out down in those compressed sets they always run, and they're just going to slice the Cowboys up. But I'm going to go real high score. I'm going to say Rams 38, Cowboys 31 in that one. And then the hometown team, if we were in normal conditions, I think with the young guys and the crowd feeding them in week 1, I would say the home team would win just off of that youthful, energy and the fact that, there's not real scouting reports on these guys out yet. But because of, no fans and you have to kind of self-motivate yourself. And as a young NFL player, it's going to be a whole new situation for them. I think offensively, we're actually going to score some good points. But defensively, I think we're going to be the worst defensive team in the league. I mean, we might have a decent pass rush, but our corners, like Ken said, my Lord. I mean, they picked up Rasul Douglas off the Philadelphia Cuts, and he's not that great, and he's going to be an integral part of this team. So I hate to say it, but Raiders 38, Panthers 27 in week 1. All right, so he requested to go last. And before we bring him on, I got a couple of comments I want to show. Jermaine Moss, picking from the crowd. He's got Panthers, Cowboys, and Patriots. Shree is very excited about those selections in the back. There you go. And then Kanisha Moten, one of the regular watchers, she's a Cowboys fan. I am so disappointed. Oh, Kanisha. I really enjoy you watching the show and supporting us, but now knowing that you're a Cowboys fan, I'm slightly disappointed. But thank you for watching anyway. All right, so we're going to bring the Juice Man on. He's normally the leadoff, but now he's the closer. He's our Mariano Rivera on this segment, and we're going to bring him on with his picks right now.
Howdy, partner. How do? Around these times of year, everybody that's a Cowboys fan is some way, shape, or form getting in mode. I've gone out on a limb and said that the Cowboys fans might be the worst and most annoying fans of all of sports history. And I stand on that. And I will forever stand on that. But I will say this. That boy Dak Prescott has got a heck of an arm. And he's got a lot to prove. And some part of me wants to jump out there and say, with all of those weapons that he has around him, that those Cowboys will find a way to win. But God, BMO love me. I couldn't pick the Cowboys if my life was dependent upon it. So I've got those good old Los Angeles Rams whooping America's team, the Cowboys. I've got them putting a whooping on them 28-20 because I believe that the Dallas Cowboys might be the team who could score a touchdown but miss an extra point. And they will not get the ball back again. That game's going to be over. Now, Shree, I know you love your Panthers. And it's going to hurt me to do this to you because I love you as well. But I'm going to have to go ahead and go out on a limb and say ditto to what all my brothers have said thus far. The Panthers will get a mud hole stumped into the middle of their defense that they have never seen before. And though their offense, led by CMC, may help them to score a mighty good heap of points, they're going to lose by a field goal. Do you know why? Because they let Graham Gano go. So I've got those good old Panthers losing 24-21 because they won't get a chance to kick a field goal and make it to win the game. And last but not least, Pep Man, I'm so disappointed in you. And though I am a huge fan of Brian Flores and Chris Greer, and what they're going to do in Miami is going to be very important, don't you know better than to vote against Superman? Don't you know better than to go against Cam, the Dab, Newton? I've got them beating the dog doo-doo out of the Dolphins, 34-10. And to all of those Cowboys fans out there, every single week I'm going to come on with this accent here. Win, lose, or draw. Because I just don't believe that you guys are even America's team anymore. And I believe that you're going to lose week 1 and you might lose week 2. Thank you. How do?
There's no words that I can say to describe what I just watched. All right, so I'm gonna love cutting that up on Twitter. That's gonna be fun. So that's our picks. I see someone else is a Cowboys fan. Miss Verlos, Panos' mom, a good two-way player for South Mex, that she is also a Cowboys fan. Oh my gosh, I'm learning a lot about our audience, and I'm beginning to get disappointed. But a lot of people enjoyed the Juice Man's. There's Mr. Moss, another one of our regular viewers. They enjoyed that, and you'll get that every week apparently. So we'll see how that grows over time. It's very interesting. All right, I'm gonna change the order a little bit because our next guest is ready. So we'll hold off on sound off because we just had that entertaining segment right there. I'm gonna bring our next guest on. So let me get that off the screen there. So our next guest is the offensive coordinator for the Highland Tech Rams. He is a good friend of mine. Throughout the years, he coached at Harding as defense coordinator in 2010 when I was there as an offense coordinator under Mark Sanders, another good friend of mine. He's got a great mind for both sides of the ball. Played at Olympic High School back in the late 90s, the best era that ever was. I'm going to bring him on right now, and that is Otis Powell.
What's going on, Pat?
How you doing tonight, man?
Man, I'm all right,
man. Not too much. Good. I'm glad you're on the show, man. So first off, let's talk about Highland Tech. An offense coordinator at Highland Tech, man. What are your expectations? What kind of offense you running? How did you come about to be the OC out there?
Well, me and Coach Truesdale, Pedro Truesdale, we coached together at Olympic for 2 years. So I've been knowing him throughout probably since my son played in 2016, and we just stayed in contact with each other through his different travels of coaching and being OCs and DCs at different places. And he finally got his shot to be a head coach, and we linked up, and it was just the right timing for me to step into this role and take on this challenge of being an OC. So that's where we at with that right now.
Good deal. So what kind of offense you guys looking at running right now?
Well, I mean, we're going to be a wing T team. That's what they're that's what try to make this transition smooth with COVID. That's what the guys ran before last year. Is what Truesdale knows. He's comfortable with it. I was with Keith Wilkes for 2 years, so I like it. There's some things that you can do with it, with the misdirections, and it's a situation where you got to get the ball in your playmakers' hands. And so that's what we're gonna try to do. And and we're gonna run the football. Because that's what the wing team do,
Okay.
set you up, and then we'll catch you with the pass.
All right. Good deal, man. Good deal. Excited to see it come together. Um, so talk to us. Let's go back in time a little bit. So let's go back to you first off, your playing days at Olympic. Just give guys a little background of, what you were a star at on the field, going through your college days, and then, just the experience that you had back in the day there.
Well, I played at Olympic in 96, 97, 98. I played corner and free safety there. I played with a bunch of great guys at Olympic. And some of those guys are like my true brothers and, friends for a lifetime. And we're all doing great things now. One of my other guys in the secondary, he's a offensive coordinator at Mount Lion Charlotte, so I'm looking forward to that matchup this coming season. Tony Cumberson, I can't wait to, we talk all the time, so I can't wait to see him in action and in the game, and go back and forth with him about that. But I enjoyed my time there at Olympic. I left Olympic and went to Western Carolina. I played 4.5 years there. Um, and so some of my good friends from my college days, they're now head coaches in the area. So I got QB1 Justin Clark, he's at North Gaston. My college roommate Randy Thompson, he's at Hunter Huss as a head coach. So we all doing good things from Western. A lot of the guys that played there had a chance to play at the next level, and we chose to come back and play and come back and coach at the high school level, and we kind of been there ever since.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So Western Carolina pumping out these head coaches and coordinators, man. That's all right. That's all right.
But I mean, you got to look at it. We got to look at it though. The way we played and the coaches we had. Some of our coaches and position coaches are big time coaches at the next level. Matt Rule is a new head coach at the Carolina Panthers. He coached us in special teams. He was our linebacker coach. You got Jeff Collins.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you got Jeff Collins. He's been around for a while, but he's a now new head coach at Georgia Tech. I got Coach Brent Pry. He's a DC at Penn State. So teammate of mine, Lamont Seward, he's down at West Georgia. He's coaching down there. So we got guys all over North Carolina in the college ranks coaching. A lot of my good friends are coaching at the college level. So,
Excellent, excellent. So what can you tell us about Matt Rule that just the general public would not know?
I know the 2 years that I spent with Coach Rule is probably the best thing that I learned about football is just how to prepare for a game. And him and Coach Collins' best thing was like having juice and being jacked up and being excited about playing the game that you love. Those guys, we're gonna see a different kind of energy in them. We're gonna see a different kind of energy in the head coach. So I love Coach Rule to death. It ain't nothing in the world. I can't wait to see what kind of energy he brings, what kind of team they're gonna have, and what kind of passion they're gonna play with. So it's gonna be a passionate deal for him. And he leads by example, and those guys are gonna follow.
Very good, very good. That's a nice nugget right there. Good stuff. You got a comment from our buddy Mizzle, is one of our regular watchers. My guy OP.
Man, yeah, that's my guy right there. I'm congratulations to him. He got a head coaching job. So all us young guys, we
Yeah.
leaving CMS and taking our chances getting OC jobs and head jobs outside. So kudos to him and getting that head coaching job over there in Mooresville. I know those guys in basketball, they got their work cut out for him because he getting ready to push.
Absolutely. So let me ask you, man, are you ready to be a head coach, or are you still trying to put some more seasoning on the steak there, so to speak?
When the right opportunity presents itself, I'm gonna be ready. I don't know when that day is gonna come, but when it comes, I got guys that I can count on. Coach Joshua Harris, Randy Thompson, Coach Clark, at North Gaston. Those guys I'll be able to mentor and link up with and talk about, the steps of being a head coach, what it takes to run a program. And then I got some other guys that I deal with. Coach Joe Evans at South Mick. He's a guy that I look up to. There's some things that he does offensively that I like. From his days at RGKL and now at South Mick, we stayed in contact. So we had some battles when he was at RGKL and I was at Olympic. So I know he's a guy that I can pick up the phone and call about being a head coach. So I'm looking forward to it. When the right opportunity presents itself, I'm gonna jump at the opportunity to get it.
Very good. And of course, I'll support you 100%, man. Another comment. Yeah, absolutely, man. Another comment from I guess I can say it, Talking Preps spokesperson Jonathan Grice. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. Ha ha ha, by God. All right. Well, there you go.
That's my guy right there. That's a West Charlotte Hopewell rivalry right there. So I can't wait to see what that plays in the IMAC with them this year. So good luck to Hopewell and Coach Jonathan. I hope he has a good season.
Absolutely, man. All right, so now I got to ask you, 2010 Harding Rams. We made the playoffs. Went out in the first round. I'm gonna share after you, but you tell me your best memory from that season.
My best memory. I was thinking about this today. My best memory. I don't know if you remember this. We was on the sideline. You was up in the box, and Coach Sanders said, "Hey, man, Matt got the game plan. Pal, you need to listen." I was like, "What?" He said, "Man, listen to Matt. He got him. He got him down pat." And for that rest of that fourth and third quarter, it was like me and you was in sequence with you were telling me what they was getting ready to run offense, and I'll call a defensive play. And we had continued big play after big play after big play. And that was a game that, lifted us into the playoffs. And it was just for me as a defensive coordinator or just a guy watching the game or just being a part of it, to be in sync with your OC and the head coach is in sync and the DC is in sync and y'all are calling plays and the game is just going the way that it should go when people are just genuine about, getting the best out of their kids and just being in tune with the game. That would be the best time that I had with you on the sideline. And even at that West Rowan game, it was cold, but we didn't give up. We kept fighting until the last whistle. It didn't really matter what we was gonna do. Me, you, Cut, Strong, Sanders. We gave it all we had to those kids in that game. And we didn't come out like we wanted to, but we knew we had a lot of talent on that field every Friday night. If we could have had a little bit more numbers and kids that were supposed to go to West Charlotte, go to Harding at the time, we'd have been better off. But we just dealt with the hand we had at Harding at the time, and we did good with what we had. And some of those kids are guys, those guys that was seniors and juniors that year, I still keep in contact with and talk to on a daily basis. So, kudos to them. I hope they're watching, and I wish them the best of luck in their futures and what they're doing with their families now. A lot of them getting married, so I stay in contact with a lot of those guys still through social media.
Yeah, very good, man. And that game was at West Meck. I remember that, man, because they were I'm not gonna say who was on the staff or whatever, but they were tipping their hand a lot, and then I was able to pick up on some keys, and it was just kind of like feeding each other back and forth, man. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I think my memory, I got so many from that season. My gosh. I would go with the playoff game because West Rowan had that big long scoring streak that they'd have where they didn't allow points, for so long, and we were able to break that in the second quarter when we ran that switch route with Eddie. He caught that fade in the end zone. And we threw for over 300 in that game, but we just, like you said, the numbers wore us down in that second half, and we were in there at halftime. But Lord rest his soul, Scott Young, he greeted us when we got off the bus, and the first question he asked, "Is your band coming?" And he asked me, and I said, "No, the band couldn't make it. How you doing, Coach?" So I took that, and I took and told the guys, I said, "Man, look, they more worried about our band than us. How y'all gonna take that? Are y'all disrespected by that?" So they came out, and they, like you said, they played hard the whole time, and you always try to find that edge, But yeah, that was probably my best memory from that time. Absolutely. I tell you, man, it's great just to relive some of these memories and kind of talk through how things used to be. But of course, in the world now, we got a lot of stuff going on, and one of the things that we've been asking people about is social injustice. With the protests and everything. Share with us some of your thoughts on how you feel about everything in the world right now.
I think that we just as men and as coaches, we have to speak our mind. We have to speak up and stand up for what we believe in. And we have to educate our kids on the past so we don't keep um just doing the same things over and over. We gotta have change, and we gotta preach change, and we gotta practice change in our daily lives. Um, and I think that the more that we do that, and the more that coaches come together and understand what the problem is, how can we fix the problem, how can we educate people on how to deal with certain situations, we'll be better off. And I think it's just all has to do about being educated and training for police officers, training for us to deal with them, to understand what they're going through, um, and for us just to have a better mindset of how we're dealing with people in general, and what's going on in the world today right now.
I agree, man. I totally agree with that. We got a comment here from V Brownlee says OP number 4. All right, you got a fan there. All right.
Yeah, that was my high school number right there. So.
Okay. Us big boys, we can get them little pretty numbers, man. I was 61 and 64, man. Just ugly, big, fat lineman numbers. That's all I got, man. So
Hey,
I was jealous.
I'm an honest believer in if you ain't got big guys up front on the offensive D line, you can't win a ball game. So us pretty boys, we can't do nothing without y'all O line and D line doing all that gritty work down in the trenches. When them D line is putting pressure on the quarterback, as a DB you love it because you get an easy pick. And when it's on the offensive side of the ball, you got O linemen blocking and pancaking. Them running backs and the receivers can hit the lane and do what they do best. And hey, don't just because you had to wear a C3 number don't mean you wasn't cool.
Appreciate that, Coach. Appreciate it. So now, you're out here in Gaston County. I live out here in Gaston County now, so I will definitely come by a Highland Tech game. I'll probably, try to hit that Highland Tech Mountain Island game because we see that battle of wits on both sides of you guys, former teammates. That'd be pretty cool. Let's see. It's this comment from Cindy Truesdale, my hubby's OC.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's the lady. That's mama right there. She take care of everything. It don't matter if it's football, wrestling. Miss Truesdale, she got covered. She got you covered. She gonna keep you straight. She gonna keep you prayed up. That's one of our things that she just gotta respect her. She gonna take care of everything. So.
Awesome. We need those people in your program to be successful. Absolutely.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
OP, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. This was fun, and we're gonna have to, I posted on Facebook. We're gonna have to get back together, do our Harden coaches reunion, and share some stories. So,
hey, listen, I can't wait. It's been a minute since I seen Coach Green, and it's been a minute since I talked to Sanders. I talk to Cut and Coach Strong every now and then when I see them playing flag football. So, it'd be fun to get together just to talk about football, not just on the Hardin side, but just in the city of Charlotte, just as a whole. It's been some great football here. I would say from 95 until now, we have had some great talent leave this area and go on and do big things, and we have some talent to come back and put into the city and put into the youth organizations and middle school football and high school football. So, Charlotte takes care of Charlotte right now, and that's what we're doing. So big up to all the guys that's coaching, that played in the city, that's coming back to the city to give back, whether you at your high school or another high school. Kudos to y'all and good luck to y'all in workouts when it gets started. Look forward to having a great season. I know it's condensed, but I'm looking forward to playing this year.
Awesome. We're looking forward to covering it, man. Thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate it. I'll reach out to you real soon, man.
All right, no problem, Coach. Talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, man.
All right.
All right. So that was Otis Powell. He's now the OC at Highland Tech Rams out here in Gaston County. Appreciate him coming on tonight and sharing some stories and some great comments with us on the topics we discussed there. All right. So now it is time for everyone's favorite segment on CFI, because for a long time it was the only segment on CFI. Now we got other segments, but now this is still everyone's favorite. It is time to sound off, baby. And when we sound off, we always lead off with the juice man, Josh Kroll, who has preemptively said what he's going to talk about tonight. So I'm excited to see what he's got in store. So here we go.
Pat man, appreciate it, baby. Sound off, sound off, sound off. Today I happened to stumble upon a video by head women's basketball coach at Duke, Coach Carol Lawson. And Coach Lawson was talking about the difference between hard work and competition. And I felt it was very, very important for right now, while kids are getting ready for their off season, they're getting prepared for what's getting ready to come forward, in February, and workouts in the adjusted schedule, that you must understand the difference between hard work and competition. She laid hard work out. That hard work can almost be given to you. That if I say, everybody go stand on that line right there, and you need to go complete this sprint in a certain amount of time, that can be considered hard work. That hard work can almost be taught to you. That you can almost inherit hard work. You can learn how to be a hard worker from somebody, a coach, a parent, a family member, a friend, a teammate. You can learn hard work. But see, competition, everybody don't want to compete. You see, competing in competition requires you to dig into somewhere that you never thought you could be able to dig into. And so for a lot of people, a lot of coaches, a lot of people in this profession, or a lot of people in general, they've always asked, well, Crow, how in the world you get this opportunity? How you get it? Ain't because I happen to know somebody or because I happen to be related to somebody. It's not even because I worked harder. It's just the extent to which I was willing to go to compete for something I said I really wanted. So for my young bulls, my young females, my young males, my young men, my young women, my young athletes, my young students, take the time to go look at what Coach Lawson was saying. Take the time to go pay attention to what Coach Lawson was talking about. Go on my Twitter and look. I retweeted it today. Take the opportunity to listen and learn and understand the difference between hard work and competition. Are you a hard worker or are you competitor? That's all I got. Sound off, baby.
I need a backup quarterback. We need a backup host. I'm starting training a backup quarterback, man. I'm sitting here talking on mute. Good, very good. Worst performance ever. 4 interceptions tonight. Man, someone got to pull me. All right, so we're going to go to producer Brandon Black and get his sound off right here.
Man, do we need Will Greer to come in for you, man? If so, let us know. I'm just gonna say that I think I'm just glad to see some sort of sense of normalcy coming with football games and things starting up. Yeah, we got some reduced schedules. High schools obviously got to wait, but we will have the NFL starting this Sunday. College is coming up soon too, and I just think football has a huge presence in people's lives. It's I think it'll do a lot. Seeing football back on TV, I think, is going to do a lot to boost just the morale of the country. With all the, with all the COVID stuff going on, a lot of political things, and just a lot of unpleasant things going on. And I think it'll be nice to just sit down, watch a game for a couple hours, and not worry about any of that for a while. And I think these games coming back this week are going to mean a lot more than people may realize. So it's good just to, just to get back to, and just to have something that's a little more normal and enjoyable to kind of focus on for a little bit.
Absolutely agree. I think, as a country, we need this. We need something to, look forward to, because, for the longest time, it's just been kind of like, everything's just been getting beat down. And as a human, you can only take so much before you start, beating back. And I think that's some of the issues that we've been having. So, good point, Brandon. Very good point. All right, let's go to the queen of CFI, Shree Glenn, and get her sound off right now.
All right, so 2 days ago, as I was watching the U.S. Open, Novak Djokovic actually was disqualified from the rest of the tournament because in the heat of the moment, he hit a ball backwards and hit the line judge in her throat, and she collapsed to the ground. And the world is upset at her now because they feel like, she's alive. She shouldn't have gone to the extreme of disqualifying him. He's also number one in the world. And not only that, but, he just got finished fighting COVID. And I think, him going through that and having dealt with that, he shouldn't have to, he shouldn't have been disqualified. But, y'all got to cut that lady some slack. Being hit in the throat is not something that, anyone can come by easily. I think that, regardless of the decision she made, I'm sure she made it in the most professional way she knew how. So y'all go ahead and cut that lady some slack. Novak has plenty more tennis matches in him, I'm sure. And I know he'll be back because he is, the man. So I think, just cut the lady some slack.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's a tough situation all the way around. I totally agree. Good sound off right there. Good stuff, Shree. Thank you very much. All right, let's go to Kenny McClamrock, the emotional engine of Football Focus Weekly. This is his star segment. A lot of the reason why you tune in and you wait and see what he's got. So let's see what he's got.
Well, you're setting the bar a little high for me tonight, Pep. I'll tell you, I was so pleasantly pleased this weekend when everyone was in bed. I couldn't sleep. Normally, I tune into The Office, and that helps put me to bed. But instead, I was scrolling down through Netflix, and I saw the Netflix top 10, and I could not believe my eyes. There looking at me was what brought me back to VHS cassette tapes, windbreaker pants, headbands, Rat, Guns N' Roses, Foreigner, Queen, and of course I'm talking about Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence, baby. Cobra Kai. Netflix has brought back Cobra Kai. Sweep the leg. Good night. I was instantly hooked. I watched one episode. I watched another episode. Next thing I know, I'm 4 episodes into it. I think they're like 30 minutes apiece. My only negative is I wish it was a little bit more PG so I could introduce my 7-year-olds to it, but they got a long ways to go. It is not PG at all, but it's such a throwback kind of show. It brought me back to my childhood, the crane pose and all those kinds of things. So if you are a child of the 80s, like just about all of us are on this show, you need to check out Cobra Kai on Netflix. That's what I've got tonight, Pep.
Yeah, and it's on my list to check out. Absolutely, I appreciate that. I guess preview of it. I am excited to see it. I am a child of the '80s, born in '81. God, I feel so old now. It's unbelievable. How do we get here? How do we get here? Good gracious. All right. So tonight, my sound off. I ranted about Hooters last week. I had one person reach out to me about that. I don't know if they got their specials or not, but someone did get the message over at the South Boulevard Hooters. They did invite me to come by, but I didn't know if their specials were there or not. But anyway, so that was nice to hear. I just want to say thank you this week. With the Under the Lights camp, we really didn't know what to expect. We decided to go ahead and move forward with that. And the support has been out of this world. And, I'm very busy, but it's being very busy for a good reason. And I kind of touched on it last week. The reason why we want to do this, we want to give kids something positive to do, and then help them get exposure. Well, we've got 12 colleges coming to the camp now to help evaluate the kids that are participating. And a lot of those guys are bringing their whole staff. So we're going to have upwards of 30 and 40 coaches on Friday night. But I want to say thank you to the players. Just incredible, messages that I've been getting in DM about, just saying thanks for this, and the incredible, messages about the little certified photo edits that we've been doing. I've done 143 of them. That's a lot, but each one of them are deserved. And we're going to do all of them, even if we have to go past the camp. So thanks to the coaches that are working the camp. Thanks to the officials that are helping out with the camp. Thanks to Shree and Brandon. They're going to be doing media, photo and video at the camp. Just thanking so many people that are involved to put this thing together. And, thank you guys for your support. And I will say that we are in the stages of planning a second follow-up camp because of all this interest. And we'll have some more stuff to say about that probably on Friday night when the camp is wrapping up. So one thing I do want to note real quick, it is not open to the public. A lot of people keep telling me that they're going to come, and I'm telling them, unless you're a high school coach on our authorized list, or if you're working the camp, or if you're a guest of a player attending, the general public cannot come by. We have strict mandates on how many people that can be in the stadium because of COVID-19. Phase 2.5 did help us, but we still have to stick to those mandates. So just, keep that in mind. If you're interested in coming by, you got to be one of those things, a high school coach, working the camp, or a member of the media. So, but thank you once again to everyone. This has been incredible, and we will have another one. And because I do want to get, some of the kids that can't get in a chance to get into the next camp. And comment from Roy Andrews. Thanks for that camp. My son is coming from the mountains. Yeah, his son is a big offensive lineman. He's huge. Eric Andrews. I'm excited to see him in action, man. So good stuff on that. So that is the end of sound. Oh, and a comment from my good friend Nchsa Ricks, who always, would fuss at me because I don't put her on. So I'm putting you on, Nchsa. There you go. Thanks for your support and watching. All right, so that's the end of Sound Off tonight. So now we're going to talk about Under the Lights camp. Once again, it's kind of a lead-in, but some players to watch, some underrated players. We've got a lot of players that have signed up, and this is my list of players to watch is immense. But I'm going to try to just name one player at each position I think is a kid that has a chance to break out and do something to possibly get offered or just garner some more attention that they deserve to get for the camp. So pulling up my player list now, so I make sure I want to hit the ones that I really want to focus on. So at the DB position, plays for a school that is kind of under the radar, but Donovan Woods at East Meck, his kid is a super talent, and I think he's being under recruited right now. He was top 5 at VTO. He's got incredible ball skills, really good in man coverage, can play zone as well. Not afraid to come up and hit. I think he's going to do well. And then, the kind of kids or kind of schools that are at this camp are going to like him a lot. From the D-line position, oh my gosh, we have so many good D linemen here. Trying to choose one to watch is going to be very tough. That's under the radar. I'm going to go with Jonathan Slaughter at Mallard Creek. Speed rushing D end, very talented. Mallard Creek kids, as we know throughout the years, there's been so much talent over there that, some of them get overshadowed a little bit. But I think he's going to have his chance in his senior year to come out and have a big time breakout season, from the D-line position, for the Mavericks. Absolutely. At the linebacker spot, there's several candidates. Gosh, we have such a good linebacker group. It's hard to say that these guys are under the radar. But I'll mention this guy. And I didn't know him initially until he said he was interested in the camp. And he got in, one of the last few linebacker spots. That's Donovan Cole up at Glenn. And you guys know Glenn has some real talent at that linebacker spot. We've seen some other guys, Albert Red and Ra Dilworth, most notably, are getting a lot of recruiting attention, rightfully so. But this young man, I think, is, right there with him. He's got an offer from Southern Miss right now. That's his only offer. But I look at his tape and I'm like, yeah, where are the other offers? Southern Miss is getting in early, and they're going to, if that holds true, they're going to end up getting, a really good, talented 2022 kid. I'm excited to see him in action and help him get his name out there a good bit. Let's go on the other side of the ball. Let's look at the offensive side of the ball. I'm very excited about this offensive line group. Looking at the names on here, my goodness. Under the radar kid. Let me see here. So many. Let's go with Tyrese Williams at South Meck. The biggest thing I like about him, he's 6'8". I mean, that's enough to garner interest, in itself, much less, the talent level. And, he's talented on film. And, the 2022 kids are what I'm looking at right here. And he's getting some of those edits that have started to come out, which is kind of like the new way of saying, we like you, in the social media era. So he's got a lot of those things going. But I know a lot of colleges are going to be excited about seeing him in action and seeing what he has to bring to the table here. Quarterback position has a lot of interesting kids. Let's go up to the 2021 group. Let's take a look at them. Let's see here. Let's go with Matthew Tumala from Charlotte Christian as far as someone to watch, because last year his season got cut a little short with injury. But I think he's got all the tools. Plays with the APD Foundation in 7-on-7. I know he's very excited about, going out to this camp and putting on a show. I tell you, you got a good quarterback when his first question to me about signing up for the camp was what was going to be the camp schedule and when are we going to have time to throw routes on air. You get those kind of questions. A kid is really tuned in and wanting to do a good job. So, I like him, and he's a very good kid. He comes from a good family too. His father's a really good guy as well. Running back position for this one was actually pretty easy. KD Redfern from Myers Park. We interviewed him as part of the CMS athletes protest along with Taj L. But not only is he socially active and trying to make change happen through those kind of efforts, but he's a talented running back. We know Myers Park has a ton of talent over there, but in spot duty he makes big plays. He's speedy and gets into space. He has really good vision. They ran him on inside zone a good bit. And, that's the kind of play where you have to be patient and read and then take your one cut and then get north and south. And he does a really good job with that. So I think he's going to turn some heads. Tight end position, we don't have a lot of tight ends, but the one that really I'm intrigued about is Zach Rita from Weddington. And we know Weddington is a very good team. This kid's got the height. I believe he's 6'5", really big hands. Just looking at his film, he can go downfield. He can get vertical and run the seam routes. But at Weddington, you got to be able to do everything. This man is a tenacious blocker at the line of scrimmage. Very good inline blocker. So I'm excited to see him move around a little bit. And, we're going to try to move those tight ends around a little bit. Let them get some pass blocking up against DNs. And when they stay solid, we'll see how they react to that. So I'm excited to see him. And then the receiver position, my gosh, we got so many receivers. It's crazy. But as far as under the radar kids, my gosh, let's go with let me go with Keenan Silas at Independence. 6'4". He did some good things at the VTO camp. I thought he was on the cusp of being top 5 over there. Kind of a late bloomer, and talking with Brad Van Horn about him, I think his best football's ahead of him. Excited to see him in this kind of competitive environment because we got a lot of receivers that are hungry to do some special things on the field on a Friday night. See, we got a couple comments here. Let's see what we got here. Jermaine Moss, I like the kid. I missed who he was talking about there. But, thank you for chiming in on that one. So those are some of the kids to watch. We got so many. We'll be out there getting video, and we'll get that video turned over real quick. We'll have pictures, and we have Don Callahan from 247 Sports in Inside Carolina coming to cover the camp. So he'll have a story and a breakdown and all that. So I have a lot of stuff coming out of this camp. I'm very excited to share that. Okay, so let's jump to our final topic of the night, and we're going to bring the panel back here shortly. But what we've got is, let's see here. We're going to jump in the time machine. We're going to talk about the best area dynasties in high school football. So I'm going to bring the panel back. We're going to just talk to this as a group and, just kind of get their opinion on these. So let's bring those guys back. And we're down 2 now. So, we got to carry the load here. We're in the 4th quarter. We're going to go on the 2-minute warning and, bring this thing home. So, all right. So, you guys, best area dynasties in high school football. We got a couple of easy ones here.
I do remember vaguely this team with it was like, what was they like yellow and green? They had a guy named Nchsa. They won 2-3 games in the early 2000s. What is that school again? They won a few games here and there. I think they might be noteworthy. Independence. That's the name of them. Yeah, obvious. I'm just gonna lead off with the easy ones. We can just get the easy ones out of the way, and then we'll do the critical thinking. So yes, Shree, Independence Patriots. Okay, they won 4,700 games in 3 years. We get it.
Shree, what you got to say about your school?
Well, the thing of it is like, they were a dynasty before you even started really establishing those. Like, they just kind of came out of nowhere, a little bit before I, but ran the table on dudes. And it was just something that, now that I look back on it, I'm able to say that I was a part of that and got to run the same halls with a lot of those guys. And I feel privileged. Like, I really feel blessed to have been a part of that because, you don't see grit like that anymore. And they're not doing it different, than they were back then. But, it wasn't the same. When you're in it, you don't realize how big of an impact it's going to have on football to come for years. But then to see and I'm proud every time I hear somebody talk about Independence anyway, but to be able to talk about the class that I was a part of, being as great as they were. Like, man, I will always represent Independence for that one.
Good deal. Good deal.
Yeah, I'm
All
gonna
right, who else
go a little bit away from Charlotte. I'm gonna come back to Charlotte on the second part. I'm gonna go out east, man. Eastern North Carolina, man. There's a school in a small town in Eastern North Carolina called Tarboro High School. And Tarboro, man, on the 2A level, man, is by all definitions a freaking dynasty, man. I'm sorry, on the 1A level, it's by all definitions is a freaking dynasty. I mean, obviously, everybody has heard about Todd Gurley and have heard about that program for so long. But the biggest piece is that, man, all of those kids, man, that have come in through that program that's won all of those state championships, man. Those kids have been playing with each other. They've been playing on the same team with each other since they were 5-6 years old, man. And they've been running the same offense, that same silly-looking freaking offense that beat us my senior year at Bedingfield, man. They literally been running that offense since they were babies, man. And so it ends up resulting in, multiple state championships, pretty much running the 1A division out of the East for just about forever. And so I give my hats off to Tarboro High School. And then, if I move a little closer to Charlotte, I stop in Winston-Salem, where I'm from originally. And, I say hats go off to Coach Wilkes, man, and being able to create a dynasty up in Winston-Salem at Carver High School, man. And just being able to see what they were able to do, having an opportunity to see a front hand and center, man, really kind of running Winston-Salem and running that entire area. And then obviously you have to double back around and hit Dudley High School. Coach Grice, man, man, Tarboro is that freaking Tarboro T is deadly, man. It's the most annoying thing in the world. And you've heard the stories, man, that Gurley wasn't even the best back. When you're in the 252, man, you hear Gurley wasn't even the best back on that team. The best back on that team, he smoked a grain of weed every game and just was not eligible to go play on the college level. But just you heard those stories, man. You hear those myths about these kids in Tarboro, man, about them pulling tractors and all of that stuff, man, and it results in them winning all the state championships. But in Greensboro, man, there's a school called Dudley High School. And Dudley High School on the 3A level, man, has been a dynasty for just about forever, man. They've been around for a very long time. Countless teams and countless players on the college level. Countless players that have gone to go play professional ball. So, and then as I make my way back down to Charlotte, it's really outside of Independence, man. I mean, who else is really worth mentioning? You got Charlotte Catholic, on the 3A/4A, the hot scotch, jumping back and forth based off your population state championship runs. And then you got Mallard Creek, man. You got to give hats off to Coach P and what he did at Mallard Creek, man. So, I tried to start out east, man, out east, Tarboro, and then work my way. And I don't want to forget Reedsville High School. I don't want to forget Edenton Holmes High School out east. Man, I don't want to forget the schools inside. Yeah, there it is right there, Reedsville High School. Definitely don't want to forget about them. And I'm forgetting one, man, right outside of Warsaw, man. Oh my God, man, they are by far probably the best team in the non-local area as far as for dynasty. So I try to give a little bit of everywhere, man. Obviously, for the people who aren't very well traveled as far as for going to see all the other schools, I've had the opportunity to be in other areas, and just those areas have some dynasties as well. So, but here in Charlotte, it doesn't get bigger as a dynasty than what you guys were able to do at Independence, Shree. So, salute y'all, man, and what y'all was able to do.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. So, the one I hear about, that's just being over at Harding a lot was Greensboro Page in the '80s. They were just dominant all the time, and I hear so many stories about Charlotte teams, trying to make a run, and they got ended by Greensboro Page every year in the '80s. And I was able to see some film, back in the day, from that time, and they were just, with any good team, it's just the way they execute. It's almost like kind of Charlotte Catholic, like, because everyone back in the day was pretty much just running the ball all the time. But that's what you saw. You think about Catholic, That's how Greensboro Page was on both sides of the ball. Shout out Charlotte Catholic, absolutely. Jim Otto, the big architect of that for so many years. And even they did it in 2A, they went in 3A, went into 4A, now they're back in 3A. Just incredible pedigree of coaching over there now under Mike Brodowitz, who has just kept things rolling in an impressive fashion. We mentioned Independence. West Charlotte, of course, from the Charlotte days, West Charlotte was big, big deal. Rivalry with Harding when it was strong. Thinking about other areas of the state, I think Juice, you hit a lot of good areas right there. Carver is definitely a good one in the Winston area. I feel like Hoggard down in Wilmington was the school that has been, really good for so many years. I think, Braswell going down there after his time in Charlotte, keeping that thing rolling on the coast. And then I think about the mountains. I think about AC Reynolds. So many years, Charlotte teams went up to AC Reynolds and perished sometimes in the snow in the playoffs. Just a tough place to play. Mountain football. Now they're running the spread up there. It doesn't even feel right to say that, but I got a comment here from one of our guests, Tyrone Knox Jr. mentions Murphy, and that's a good one because oh gosh, what's his name? His name, tip of my tongue. The Murphy head coach, the big guy in the Coaches Association here in the state. It's gonna come to me when the show ends, but Murphy's very good. They actually I think they knocked off Mountain Island Charter a couple years ago in the playoffs. And this is one I was getting to, but Roy beat me to it. The Shelby Lions. Sheree, you know that one.
That's an easy choice there.
But yeah, no, Shelby is definitely another team that has done it, and I think if they continue on the way they have, will continue to do it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, Shelby's definitely one. Lord have mercy, boy. You don't want to play Shelby when they rolling. You don't really want to play Shelby. The school out east that I was thinking about was Wallace Rose Hill. Four state championships in like 10 years. Yo, Wallace Rose Hill. If anybody knows anything about Duplin County, little small county where the little wine is made, Duplin County, you got Warsaw High School and all that. Wallace Rose Hill. You have to go into that freaking Lions Den and freaking Wallace Rose. Oh my gosh. My last year as the offense coordinator at Bedingfield High School in Wilson, we played Wallace Rose Hill in the second round of the playoffs. Let's just say they came and put the darn smackdown on us at our house. They came and just out and just went home and left. Look at all the comments. Everybody know Wallace Rose Hill for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll throw those comments up there from Mizzle. Them two twins, that was really good.
Yeah.
What did they play? What position were they?
One play running back and the other play wide receiver. Or one play quarterback and the other play wide receiver. One of the two. But they torched everybody for forever.
Good gracious. And then Jonathan Leach coming back with the same thing right there. So good feedback right there. That's my county. One of them. Oh, okay. All right. Good way to represent your county there. Good job. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. But obviously there's a lot of great teams, throughout history. But when you talk about dynasties, we're talking about teams and schools that dominated for years upon years upon years. And we named some good ones right there.
Please don't hate mail if we forgot one.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming. But there's so many, and we could probably, pull up a list. And our buddy Jim West is a high school football historian. He's probably sitting there going crazy because he's like, "You guys missed this one, this one, this one, this one, this one." But yeah, a good deal. Thanks a lot on that topic, guys. Nice to go down memory lane a little bit right there. All right, so that is the end of tonight's show. Next week we will bring back a chalk talk. We're gonna have Coach Leggett from Marvin Ridge. He's gonna come on, and his offensive line coach. So we're gonna get physical next week in chalk talk. we'll have a recap from the Under the Lights camp. We'll go through our week 1 picks and see who did good and who did bad. And we'll hear from Juice Man with I think he's got a surprise next week for his picks that he shared with us. That's going to be interesting to see. Y'all stay tuned for that because I'll be ready to laugh. We'll do sound off once again, and we'll have Coach Phillips and Kenny McClamrock back once again in the house. And we'll do our thing as always. We'll have a head coach on, we'll have an assistant coach on, and we'll go through the rundown, and we'll knock it out like we always do. So, on behalf of the rest of the panel, this is the Pet Man Matt Morrow signing off for this week's Football Focus Weekly. If you come to the camp Friday night, if you're a parent, a player, say hello. I'll be glad to meet you in person. You guys that watch us and support us, I'd love to get to know you a little bit. Thank you for your support in person of CFI, Charlotte Football Insiders. All right. Well, we'll see you next week, 7:30 p.m. on Football Focus Weekly.